I know that we talked a lot about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Donald Trump today. I believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have united our allies against aggressive authoritarian states. But I also think it's important, since we've talked so much about Trump and the Trump era, to compare the Biden-Harris record with the Donald Trump record as it relates to China. And of course, we here have a recent a story by the Washington Post. I'm going to show a recent one as well about President Xi and China and John Bolton's claims, which I think are very credible, that somehow Donald Trump is working and had worked with President Xi to actually encourage election interference. Now, during a one-on-one meeting between President Xi and Trump, Donald Trump asked to buy more soybeans and wheat to help him actually win re-election, as John Bolton had noted and the Washington Post reported. And in fact, in that same meeting, Trump actually said that Democrats were the party that was actually tougher on China. Now, Mr. Stokes, does this sound to you like Trump was pursuing some type of electoral gain and putting it above the national security interest?
I wasn't in the room, so I can't speak to what was or wasn't said. I think in general, we shouldn't have any hostile foreign states or any foreign states interfering in U.S. elections, period, full stop, no matter who if they're supporting Democrats or Republicans.
And of course, and if Donald Trump, though, was encouraging election interference, that would be highly obviously unethical and illegal as far as I'm concerned. But we know that Donald Trump has also used the power of the presidency for his own political gain before. Now, Mr. Stokes, can you remind us why President Trump was actually impeached the very first time he was impeached?
This isn't my area of expertise, but presumably Russ's influence in the election.
Thank you. And it's also true, if we remember, that Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, received $2 billion from Saudi Arabia for his investment fund after leaving the White House, just 2 months after leaving the White House. And these allegations of foreign interference of Donald Trump, his relationship with China, I think should be very concerning. Now, I want to show you this photo right here. There's been recent reports, again in the Washington Post, and Ranking Member Raskin and I have asked actually for an investigation into allegations that the Egyptian government may have sent $10 million in campaign contributions to Donald Trump in the closing days of the Trump campaign. And this raises serious questions, of course, about what Donald Trump has done, whether it's been his meetings with President Xi, whether it's been his conversations with the Egyptian president, and others, of which he was impeached for the first time, as to why he's trying to gain favors around elections. Donald Trump, of course, is resisting this investigation. But Mr. Stokes, do you think that the American people should be concerned about potential quid pro quos?
Yes, from any presidential candidate or former president.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about one other. We know that President Donald Trump also received at least $7.8 million from at least 20 foreign states and authoritarian leaders, including China, of which we're talking about today, in blatant violation of the Constitution. And I think it's important to remember that that $7.8 million is just the minimum that we know about, because we have a very limited number of the actual receipts of money that was going into the Trump organization, including money that was coming in directly from China. So as we're talking about the Chinese government and the Chinese influence, we have to ensure that we note the influence that China and other foreign actors were having on Donald Trump. So with that, I'm going to yield back and remind us that that's the investigation that we should be having.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes.
But I just wonder, Dr. Thayer, you've made a very strong argument that the Trump administration confronted China, and yet there's all of this evidence that Donald Trump and his businesses were pocketing millions of dollars from the Chinese government, the dozens of trademarks that went to his daughter, his lavish praise of President Xi. And I just wonder how you reconcile that in your mind. Is there any cognitive dissonance there, or are you saying that the administration did one thing and then the president was sort of a loose cannon off doing his own?
Well, Ranking Member Raskin, thank you for the comment. My thoughts are these. First, that the threat from the Chinese Communist Party should be a nonpartisan issue, in that the CCP is killing Americans every day. Over last year, the CDC said 107,000 Americans were killed by fentanyl overdoses, precursor chemicals being...
I got you out on that stuff. I guess my question is about elite...
And gentlemen's time's expired.
Yeah, I mean, was the elite capture strategy targeted at Donald Trump, but you're saying his administration somehow survived it?
I don't know that that's what he said, but gentlemen's time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. McClain from Michigan.